Hi, I'm JC the MP. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about billing just a little bit. And this is not going to be a billing or a coding course. We're just going to have a little bit of discussion on billing. Question was, I'm in a specialty clinic, specialty area, and I'm under billing. How do I fix that? Well, the answer is you need to make sure, one, if you're doing the coding, you have to make sure that you code appropriately, okay? So your coding is essentially supposed to be a transcription of your documentation. So if you're documenting appropriately, then your coding should also be appropriate. So one of two things, either you're not documenting appropriately or you're just not coding right. And as a profession, nurse practitioners are widely known for being chronic underbillers, okay? We bill a 2 instead of a 3, a 1 instead of a 2, 3 instead of a 4, 4 instead of a 5, okay? Sometimes double down, okay? So a 3 instead of a 5. Not usually, but mostly at least one tier down. And when we're talking about reimbursement, that's a huge amount of money. The difference between a 4 and a 3 is about $30, okay, per patient. You can see how that would add up over the course of even one day. That's just a phenomenal amount of money you're missing if you're not coding properly, okay? And this is not about fraud or anything like that. It's about ensuring that you're getting paid for what you do. If you're a mechanic, you go into the shop, somebody comes in to change 4 sets of tires, you don't charge them for 2. You charge them for 4 sets of tire and the labor it takes to change the tire. This is the same thing. You just have to make sure that you're doing it appropriately and properly. So, for instance, if you are in a family practice, you should have a bell curve of your billing where the bell curve, the peak is over a 3. Some 2s, some 4s, occasional 5, no 1s, okay? We should never ever bill a 1 that's a nurse visit, okay? If you're in a specialty area, i.e. internal medicine, cardiology, gastroenterology, you should bell curve out over a 4, okay? That's why those areas generally pay NPs more because reimbursement is just higher, okay? So that's why when you work in those areas, you have a higher reimbursement. But if you're not bell curving in that area, you're doing something wrong, okay? And it may be you're coding wrong. It may be that you are not documenting appropriately. It may be that you're not documenting the appropriate steps in order to ensure that you're coding appropriately. If you're coding based off of time, you have to make sure that you time it appropriately. Have to document the time. If you don't document the time, you're not going to get the code for it. And there needs to be a place on the documentation for the coders to see that, okay? So the best way to do this is to get really friendly with your coders. Go over the charts to ensure that they're coding appropriately. The biggest mistake that we have, and this is just a good example, okay, outside of downcoding completely, but this is a good example. If you are doing cerumen disimpaction, okay, if you do a cerumen disimpaction, you do not get reimbursed for it, okay? If you do a cerumen disimpaction with instrumentation, you get reimbursed for it. So you have to know that difference. And if you don't know that difference, you don't get paid for what you're doing. Okay, so you have to be able to make sure you discern what you get paid for and what you don't get paid for. And if you don't know that, you have to spend some time coding. Okay, you have to spend some time with the coders. You have to spend some time reviewing your billing to ensure you're billing appropriately. If you don't have access to that, it's going to be a problem. So you have to have access to it, at least to the coders. Okay, at least to the billers to ensure that you're getting reimbursed for what you're doing and that you're getting reimbursed properly. If you think you're billing a 4 and it comes back that you're billing a 3, you got to figure out what the problem is, okay? Are you not including enough elements in your HPI, your ROS, your physical exam? You're not including enough bullets? I don't know. Without seeing your individual documentation, there's no way for me to know. But you have to figure this out. This is something that affects your salary and any potential bonuses down the road. So if we're not billing appropriately, it affects us greatly, and it'll affect your patients. If you are not billing them appropriately, and then you start billing them appropriately, they may get mad. Well, I've always been going in to see them for this, and now suddenly they're charging me more? I don't understand. Now, generally, the patient's not going to see this because they have their copay and it's a set rate no matter what you bill them. Okay, so most of the time it's seen by the insurance or Medicare anyways. It's not actually seen by the patient. But if you're in a cash business, it's a different story. But you have to make sure we bill appropriately. All right. Any other questions, hit me up. I am jcdmp@yahoo.com, and we'll answer some more questions next time. See ya.